Unit 4, History. Lesson 1, July Uprising, a transformative movement. A. Warm-up activity. Look at the picture and discuss the following question in pairs. Number 1. What can you see in the picture? Number 2. What do you understand by the term mass movement? Can you name any mass movement from the history of Bangladesh? Why do you think students often play a significant role in political change in Bangladesh? What does democracy mean to you? Why is it important in a country's governance? What is quota system? Why did students protest against it? B. Read the text below and answer the questions that follow. The July Uprising was a mass movement in Bangladesh that led to the overthrow of Sheikh Hasina's regime in July to August 2024. Also referred to as the Monsoon Revolution or July Revolution, the movement began with a student-led protest at Dhaka University demanding quota reform in public service. The government's brutal repression and the tragic loss of life transformed the initially apolitical protest into a widespread uprising that united various political, cultural, social, and religious groups. This collective mobilization ultimately led to Sheikh Hasina fleeing the country. The uprising was not a sudden event, rather it was the culmination of 16 years of public frustration stemming from tyranny, human rights abuses, and the systematic dismantling of state institutions. Catalyst of the uprising. The July Uprising was fueled by a combination of long-standing grievances and immediate triggers. Number 1. Quota reform and discrimination. The movement was ignited by the reinstatement of a discriminatory quota system in government jobs. The debate over quotas has a long history in Bangladesh, with earlier protests in 1997, 2001, 2008, and 2013. The 2018 quota reform movement saw the government announce the cancellation of the system, but its reinstatement by the High Court in June 2024 sparked renewed student protests. Number 2. Political repression and fascist rule. The 16-year rule of the Awami League government was marked by political repression, killings, enforced disappearances of opponents, and restrictions on freedom of expression. The politicization of state institutions, from the judiciary and military to public health and education, created deep-seated resentment among the populace who felt disenfranchised and oppressed. Number 3. Electoral farce and disenfranchisement. For controlling elections, Sheikh Hasina, bypassing Supreme Court direction, removed the caretaker government system from Constitution in 2011. Subsequent general elections of 2014, 2018, and 2024 were widely marked by fraudulent practices. Low voter turnout, widespread vote rigging, and a controlled media environment eroded public faith in the democratic process and left citizens feeling powerless. Number 4. Economic hardship. Rampant corruption, financial mismanagement, and kleptocratic practices severely damaged the country's economy. High unemployment coupled with soaring inflation and widening inequality made life difficult for ordinary citizens. Economic policies that favored a select few also marginalized small and medium-sized businesses, contributing to widespread economic distress. Number 5. Youth disillusionment. Young people, particularly students, were deeply disillusioned. They faced humiliation and violence across the country from Chhatra League terrorists and felt that their merit and hard work were being ignored in favor of nepotism and partisanship, particularly due to the extensive quota system. Number 6. Widespread public support. The uprising was largely non-partisan and spontaneous. It garnered momentum because a vast majority of citizens felt victimized by the government's structural corruption, human rights abuses, and judicial overreach. This shared experience of oppression meant that when students took to the streets, the wider public quickly joined them. Number 7. Reaction to killings. The government's brutal response to the protests, which included attacks and killings of peaceful demonstrators by security forces and political thugs, ignited a furious public reaction. This violent repression was a pivotal turning point, transforming the quota reform movement into a nationwide anti-authoritarian uprising. The chronology of the uprising. The July uprising unfolded rapidly, with key events escalating the conflict. June 5, 2024. The High Court declared the cancellation of the freedom fighter quota illegal, sparking immediate student protests. June 6, 2024. Protests spread to multiple universities, including Dhaka, Jahangirnagar, Rajshahi, and Chittagong. July 1, 2024. The Anti-Discrimination Student Movement platform was launched, initiating nationwide demonstrations and blockades. July 7, 2024. Students enforced a Bangla blockade program, disrupting traffic in Dhaka and other districts. July 14, 2024. After a mocking comment by Sheikh Hasina, student protests intensified with new slogans. July 15, 2024. Students at Dhaka and Jahangirnagar universities were brutally attacked by the members of Chhatra League and police. July 16, 2024. Protests turned deadly as police opened fire on demonstrators, killing several people across the country, including Abu Saeed in Rangpur. July 17, 2024. Funerals and coffin processions were held for the deceased, with one at Dhaka University being violently dispersed by police. July 18, 2024. The movement gained broader support as students from private universities, schools, and colleges joined. More than 50 people were killed in attacks, and the government shut down the internet. July 19, 2024. People from all walks of life took to the streets despite the internet shutdown. Helicopters fired on protesters and homes, resulting in over 100 deaths. July 20, 2024. A nationwide curfew was imposed, but clashes continued, killing dozens more. International condemnation grew. August 3, 2024. A movement coordinator announced a one-point declaration for the resignation of the Prime Minister and called for a non-cooperation movement. The Bangladesh Army refused to open fire on unarmed protesters. August 5, 2024. In response to the Students' March to Dhaka program, millions broke the curfew and marched on the capital. Sheikh Hasina fled the country and protesters occupied key government buildings. Statistics of casualties. A report of the UN Human Rights Office noted that the former government of Bangladesh, along with the security and intelligence services and elements of the Awami League, systematically committed severe human rights violation during last year's student-led protests. The report's findings, based on testimony of senior officials and other evidence, suggest an official policy of violent repression against protesters and sympathizers. This has led to concerns about potential crimes against humanity which warrant further criminal investigation. The report estimates that up to 1,400 people were killed between July 1 and August 5, with thousands more injured. The vast majority of deaths were from shootings by Bangladeshi security forces. A particularly grim detail is that children accounted for approximately 12 to 13% of the fatalities. Aftermath and legacy. Sheikh Hasina's reign was extremely controversial in the political history of Bangladesh. During her rule from 2009 to 2024, the structure of democratic institutions collapsed. Disappearances, murders, extrajudicial killings, looting, suppression of opposition views, and disenfranchisement were the main features of this regime. However, history has taught us that fascism cannot last forever. Thus, the fall of fascist Sheikh Hasina was just a matter of time. The long-standing dissatisfaction against Sheikh Hasina's repressive policies finally exploded in the mass uprising of July 2024. Students, youths, professionals, working people, and the masses took to the streets, forming a collective resistance. When Sheikh Hasina chose the path of brutal suppression with lethal weapons, there was a storm of condemnation from the international community. Fascist Sheikh Hasina became politically and morally isolated. As a result, Sheikh Hasina fled the country in the face of the August 5 uprising. The uprising is seen as the dawn of a new political and social era for Bangladesh that sometimes is referred to as Bangladesh 2.0. It represents a victory for the unified power of the people and a renewed commitment to democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. The July uprising is a powerful testament to the people's desire to build a new nation based on justice and accountability. July Declaration. The July Declaration serves as a mechanism to officially bind future governments to the principles and demands of the July uprising, which represents the citizens' utmost desires. On August 5, 2025, the first anniversary of the uprising, the chief advisor of the interim government, Dr. Muhammad Yunus, read out the declaration. The document expresses the intent to provide legal protection to the national heroes and those who were injured or killed. Prepared in consultation with political parties, the declaration further states that the government will grant constitutional and state recognition to the student-led mass uprising. Number C. Find out the meanings of the following words and make sentences with them. Number 1. Uprising. Number 2. Overthrow. Number 3. Reform. Number 4. Brutal. Number 5. Culmination. D. Answer the following questions. Number 1. How does the July uprising reflect the power of unity among people from different classes and professions? Number 2. In what ways can the student-led movements bring about political or social change in a country? Use examples from the history of Bangladesh. Number 3. What lessons can we learn from the July uprising about the importance of democracy, justice, and the right to protest? Number 4. How do economic struggles, political repression, and lack of rights affect the lives of ordinary people in a country? Number 5. If you had participated in the July uprising as a student or a citizen, what role would you have played and why? E. Read the text below and fill in the gaps using the words in the box. Movement, fascist, curfew, unity, regime, resistance, students, internet, quota, martyrs. The July uprising of 2024 started as a protest against the reinstatement of the Dash system in government jobs. The protest was led mainly by University Dash, but soon people from all professions joined the Dash. Over time, it transformed into a mass uprising against the Dash rule of fascist Dash. The government's response was brutal. Law enforcement agencies and ruling party activists carried out attacks, leading to many deaths and injuries. The number of Dash rose as violence escalated. In an attempt to control the situation, the government shut down the Dash and later imposed a nationwide Dash. Despite the oppression, the people showed strong Dash and continued their protests. This uprising proved the power of public Dash in bringing an end to tyranny.